All right, so this is a problem that we were given this morning, right? First of all, what kind of function is this? Is this a linear function, quadratic function, absolute value function, exponential function? What kind of function is this? Quadratic. How do we know it's quadratic? Because the highest exponent is a what? 2. What would the exponent be if it was an exponential function?
X.
It would be x. Thank you, sir. If it was an exponential function, the exponent would be a what? X. Okay? How do we know it's not an absolute value function? Because we don't see absolute value bars. How do we know it's not a linear function? Because it has an exponent of a 2, and linear function has an exponent of 1. The highest exponent is a 1. So I know it's a quadratic function. So in my mind, I already know this thing is going to make a parabola, right? Now, is this parabola going to U up? Or is this parabola going to U down? Because it depends on the A. But in order to determine where the A is, I mean, it's always in the same spot. But to determine where the A is, I first need to know what function this is. What form is it written in? What form is this written in? It is written in vertex form. So we are already given the vertex. This is not standard form, right? This is not, what's the other form? It's not factor form. It is what form? Vertex. So if we look at this, what is vertex form? Vertex form says y equals a times, stay with me, go on, x minus h squared plus k. What does that tell me? What parts of that is my vertex? It's the h and the what? K. So I'm pulling out the h and k. However, remember, if it's following this negative in the formula, you pull out the opposite of what you see. Are you all with me? Yes. So what then is going to be my vertex here? -1. These are the two I'm pulling. I'm pulling out the opposite of this one and this one as is. So what is my vertex? It is -1 and what? 12. Raise your hand if you got that right. That's the first thing you should have saw from here, right? So now I come over here and I put my vertex is -1, 12. Does everybody understand how we got that? Yes. Key thing to remember, critical content. Opposite of what you see. So this is +1, so we should pull out a -1. Now, I got my vertex. Once you got your vertex, what else can you have immediately? Your axis of symmetry. So what is going to be my axis of symmetry? X equals what? X equals what? -1. X equals -1. Because it's just the x of your vertex. Is everybody following? Yes. I already got a lot of information already, right? I know my highest point on this thing. First of all, we having a highest point or a lowest point? Highest. Is this U-ing up or is it U-ing down? It's U-ing down. How do you know it's U-ing down? Because the A is negative. When we look at this A, this A is -3. That means this parabola goes down. Are you with me? So are we going to have a max or a min? We're going to have a maximum. All right? So I would be writing a lot of information for myself. The minute I see that, I know I got a max going on, right? And that's going to be my highest point on my graph. I can almost come to my graph over here and just start plotting stuff, right? We can come over here. What's my vertex? -1 what? 12. So I will go back 1, up 12. I'm going to put a point right here. I already know that's my highest point. Are y'all with me? Yes? I know I got an axis of symmetry that goes through that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my line there. Right? Anything else I know? I know this thing is going to U down, right? Which means I'm going to have how many intercepts? You're going to have 2 because it's going to go both ways and it's going to hit that thing twice, right? Is everybody following so far? Yes? All right. So what else can I do? Well, I know my A. What else does my A tell me? My A not only tells me that it U's down, but don't it give me my concavity? Right? So what does that mean? If I got an A of -3, what can I do? We talked about quick graphs. What can we do? What do I know that can help me with quick graphs? 1, 3, 5. Right? Don't I know that? So let's work with that. I got 1, 3, 5. What am I going to do with this 1, 3, 5? I'm going to put it over here. So I got -3, which is my A. So my A equals -3. But what can I do with that -3? I can multiply it by 1. I can multiply it by 3. And I can multiply it by 5. What is it telling me to do? It's telling me how much to go up or down once I go over 1. We always go over 1 with quadratic functions, right? Same thing with absolute value. Same thing with exponential functions. It tells you, you always go right 1 and then you go up or down, whatever it tells you, right? So if I go back, what do we have here? We got negative 3 times 1 is what? Negative 3. Y'all with me? What's negative 3 times 3? Negative 9. What's negative 3 times 5? Negative 15. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go right 1 and then what? Down 3. Then I'm going to go right 1 again and go what? Down 9. Then I'm going to go right 1 again and go what? Down 15. As soon as you got that vertex and you know your A, you can make your graph. You don't need much else. And let your graph lead you to your x-intercepts. Let's go. So I'm here. What am I doing first? I'm going right 1 and what? Down 3. 1. Well, these are going by 2, right? Y'all with me? Yeah. So how about this? Just so I don't get confused, I'm going to go throw my little lines in here so I can count by 1s. You always got to pay attention to that. Are y'all with me? Yes? All right. So these are going by 2s. So I'm going to break it up a little bit. So I'm going by 1s. So now I'm going to go right 1. Because these are going by 1, so that's okay. Right 1 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? Yes? I was at a 12, now I'm at a 9. I went down 3. Questions? Everybody good? So what are we going to do this time? We went down 3. What was our next one?
9.
Down 9. Down 9, right? So right 1 and down 9. Well, I'm already at 9. So if I go down 9, where am I going to end up? On the x-axis. So aren't I going to be here? What did I just find? I just found my first solution, my first x-intercept. Are y'all following? If I want to, I can do it again, right? What am I going down this time? Down 15. So I'm going to go right 1. I'm at 0. So down 15 just going to take me all the way down to 15. Right 1 down 15 going to put me in the middle. Right here. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
We just created one side of our parabola. Do we really need anything else? So watch this. How were we able to make this graph? From vertex form, all we needed was a vertex. We got the vertex. We know the A. Let's go. Right 1 down, whatever. Right 1 up, whatever, depending on what that A say. Remember, you got to do that 1, 3, 5 to help you with that part, right? So now I'm here. So now what do I do to get the other side of this parabola? Reflect. This is 1 unit to the right, so I'm going to do 1 unit to the left in that same spot. This is, here's my axis of symmetry. 1, 2 to the right, 1, 2 to the left. What did I just find? My other x-intercept. Do we all see that? Yes. Yes? So now I'm here. Y'all notice the pattern, right? It's 1, then it's 2, then it's 3, right? So I'm 3 this way. 1, 2, 3. We're starting at the axis of symmetry, which is here. We go 1, 2, 3 this way. 1, 2, 3 this way. So now I just made my entire parabola. It's curving this way, going down. This one's curving this way. Go back. Nope, that was ugly. But y'all get the point, right? Yes. Yes. Any questions? That was not hard. How long that took us to do? 5 minutes? Right? Once they get your vertex form, like, I'm good. Pop that vertex in real quick. Do that quick graph. Be done. Now I know my. So what is this point? 1, 0. And what is this point? -3, 0. Right? So now can I go back and answer another part for key features? I know my roots, don't I? What are my roots? -3 and 1. X equals -3 and 1. These are my x-intercepts. That was easy. That was easy. Now, how do you find your y-intercept? Now, I saw on some people's paper, they put 12 as their y-intercept. Did our parabola cross the y-axis at 12? No. Where did it cross at? 9. So how do you get that from here? Remember, we talked about this last time we had this, the very first time we had this. The notes at the top of your paper said, to find your x-intercept, you plug in a 0 for the y. To find your y-intercept, you plug in the 0 for the what? X. So let's just plug in zeros for the x and see what we get, right? So let's do that. If I go here, I'm going to plug in 0 for the x. What's my rule? Y equals -3 times x plus 1 plus 12. I need you to remember these key things, right? Squared. Correct. Very good. Thank you. So what do? I'm going to plug in 0 for what? X, because I want the y-intercept. That is always true no matter what equations you got. If you got to find the y-intercept, just plug in zeros for the x. So now I got y equals -3 times 0 plus 1 squared plus 12. This is just math now. We know this part, right? Yes? Y equals -3. What's 0 plus 1? 1. What is 1 squared? 1 plus 12. Y equals, what's -3 times a positive 1? -3 plus 12. And this is the same thing if we use commutative property. What is the same as saying -3 plus 12? Swap them. What do you say? Positive 12 minus 3. So what is 12 minus 3? 9. So y equals what? That is our y-intercept. But we didn't have to know this, because once you graphed it, wasn't you going to find it? Yes. Yes. Now, under what circumstance do I got to know to plug in this 0 for x? If it's not a clean number. Let's say it fell somewhere between 8 and 9, but I'm not sure where. It's not going to always be clean. That's why we got an alternate route. Are you with me? Is everybody clear? Let's just review something real quick, because I think some of us are not getting the main things. What form did they give us? Vertex. Vertex form gives you the what? It also gives you the axis of symmetry. It'll give you the A too, because every form gives us the A, right? So can I work with that? Yeah, you give me the vertex, there's no work for me to do. Pull out the opposite of this because the formula says minus H. Well, on your reference sheet, it's going to give you the formula for vertex form. So when you see that negative, that means take out the opposite of what you see. Are y'all following? So if this is a positive 1, I'm going to take out a what? -1. And then it's going to be -1, positive 12. So what do? I go right on my graph. And let me plot that out real quick. Y'all follow? Then it gives me an A. My A is what? -3. So what I'm going to do? Do my quick graph. If my A equals -3, that's -3 times 1 times 3 times 5. What if I needed another point? What would I do? -3 times what? 7. You're just doing the odd numbers, right? Because that's the ratio by which it grows. So then once we get that, I know to go write 1 down 3, write 1 down 9, write 1 down 15. If they would have been positive, then I would have went up instead of going down. So now we go to our graph. All we needed was the vertex. Write 1 down 3, write 1 down 9, write 1 down 15. Got our points, axis of symmetry, reflect those points, I'm done. I got my solutions, I got my vertex. What else is there to get? Right? Now, do I need my y-intercept? Yes, but I can see that from my graph. It's where my parabola crosses the y-axis. But I could also see that here. How? Because if you need any intercept, you just plug in 0 for the other one. If I need the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for the x. If I need the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for the y. That's it. It's very simple. Are y'all following me? Yes. Yes? Anybody got questions? No. All right, so we're done with this, right? Yes. All right, so now the next part asks us for what? What was part B? Write the rule in standard form. So let's go. How do I write in standard form? Standard form is not difficult to do. With standard form, all you have to do is work it out. So what was the problem? The problem was... All right, so you want me to put this thing in standard form? Does standard form have parentheses in it? Yeah. Does standard form have parentheses in it? ax squared plus bx plus c. So then just get rid of the parentheses. So what does this mean when I see this squared? What does that mean? Absolutely. Write it twice. X plus 1 times x plus 1. So I'm going to write it out. I was going to switch over. I'm going to put y equals negative 3 times x plus 1 times x plus 1 plus 12. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? All right. Now, according to PEMDAS, which tells us the order of operations, what comes first? Parentheses. Do I have parentheses that I need to work? Yes, so let's do that. So I'm not going to mess with this until I take care of that. So when I take care of that, I'm going to do this times this, and then this times this. This times this, this times this. We should have had a lot of practice at this part, right? So where are we? We got what? Y equals negative 3 times x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1 plus 12. Getting there. You got a question? You understand what I'm doing? All right, so I got like terms here, right? So we got y equals negative 3 times x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 12. Now, can I combine anything else in here? No more like terms. So now how am I going to get rid of these parentheses since they don't have like terms? Distribute. I got to distribute this negative 3. So now I got y equals. What's negative 3 times x squared? Negative 3x squared. What's negative 3 times 2x? Negative 6x. What's negative 3 times 1? Negative 3. And I'll bring down plus 12. Now I'm almost there. What is it that I can combine or do to make this simpler? Negative 3 and 12. And how can I rewrite that? 12 minus 3, right? What is 12 minus 3? 9. So my next line going to read y equals negative 3x squared minus 6x plus 9. And this is it in standard form. Just that simple. That's it. That's it. No magic. Just simplifying. Get rid of these parentheses until we simplify. Right? And from this we can see what? We see our y-intercept. Can I tell anything else from here? My b. Now my b don't really matter unless I'm using it for the vertex, right? Which is negative b over 2a, right? But yeah, I can see my b from here if I need it for something, if I'm factoring, right? Which is what we're going to do next, right? So if they're asking us to factor, first thing I want to do is if I got to write the factored form of this. Now, I asked you guys to, what did I ask you to do? Solve it by factoring? So to solve it by factoring, let's go here. I got to put it in standard form because with factoring, what do we need? We need our what? A, B, and C, right? We need our A, B, and C. So what is our A? What's our B? What's our C? And now what's going to be my next step?
A times C.
A times C. So let's do that. A times C is what?
Negative 27.
It is negative 27. Now I got a D and an E. What's my D?
Negative 9.
How are we getting these? Because we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us negative 27. So what does that tell me? How many numbers am I going to have that's negative? Only one. I'm going to have a negative number. But then they need to add to give me negative 6. My B is negative. So what does that tell me about my negative? It needs to be the larger number. Are y'all with me? So what am I thinking? What are all the factors of 27?
9 and 3.
1 and 27, 9 and what? 3. Which of these going to give me a 6 if I add or subtract it? 9 and 3. So I know I got a 9 and a 3. One of them going to be negative. 9. Because I need the bigger one to be negative. So now what do I do at this point? What do I do with this 9 and 3? Negative 9. I'm going to replace that 6. So I had y equals negative 3x minus 6x plus 9. This is what we had originally, right? So now I'm going to do y equals negative 3x minus 9x. Sorry, thank you. Minus 9x plus 3x plus 9. Everybody good there? Okay, so now we do what? We're grouping, right? What are we grouping?
The negative 3 squared and the 9x.
And we're going to leave that plus in the middle and group that, right?
Yes.
All right, what is my greatest common factor here? I hear X. We always pulling out just the X. That's because we're getting used to having an A of 1. But when the A is not 1, double check to make sure it's just the X. How do you get a 3? 3 times what? 3 times 1, right? This is 3 times 1. How do you get a 9? 3 times what? 3. And these are X's on the end. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
Another X. So if that's the case, what do they have in common?
3.
They have a 3. They have a 3 in common. What else they got in common? They have an X in common. Are you following?
Yes.
Yes? So then what am I pulling out of this?
3.
3X. Now, am I pulling out a positive 3X or a negative 3X? How do we know that? It's what's in the front. Pull out whatever's in the front. If there's a negative out front, pull it out. Okay? So let's pull out this negative 3X. What is that going to leave me in my parentheses? X. I heard X minus 3. X minus 9. So watch this. It has to be simplified, right? If I take out a 3X, don't that just leave me with a 3? Y'all see that? That left me with a 3 because you had 3 times X. So if I pull out a 3 and an X, pull out a 3 and an X, what does that leave me? It's just a 3 left. Here's how I know. Because 3 times 3 is 9. If you put a 9 here, that's 3 times 9. That's 27. That's not what this is. Are y'all following? When you multiply this by this, you should get the same thing that was in there. Now, if I do a negative times a negative, what do I get? So should I have a negative 3 here? What kind of 3 should I have? It should be positive. Because negative 3 times positive 3 gives me negative 9. Jared, you with me? All right, now here, but this part should be easy for me. Because I already know what I need in parentheses. What do I need in the parentheses? I need X plus 3. Well, how do you get from 3X to X? Well, how do you get from 9 to 3? What are you going to do? You got to divide by a what? Positive what? 3. So that means I'm taking out a positive 3. Right? 3 times X is 3X. 3 times 3 is what? 9. So that means I did the right thing. Is everybody following?
Yes.
Some of y'all just looking at me, but you ain't really engaged. If you ain't talking to me, I don't know you understand. So this and this. Now, we have 2 factors. Right? We have 2 terms. Sorry. We have a term here and a term here. What do these 2 terms have in common? They both have X plus 3. So I'm going to have Y, and I'm going to pull out the greatest common factor one more time, which is X plus 3. And when I pull out this X plus 3, what am I left with? Negative 3X plus what? 3. This and this. Now, this, I can write it this way. However, I've been asked to solve this. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
And if I'm solving this, then what should I'm looking for x-intercepts. And if you're looking for x-intercepts, what should your y be set equal to? 0. So this needs to become 0. So I'm going to write this as x plus 3 times negative 3x plus 3 equals what? 0. Can we solve this? Yes. How do I solve at this point? X plus 3 equals 0. Because in order for this product to be 0, one of these got to be a 0. So we're going to set them both equal to 0 to see what x must be. So then I'm here. Negative 3x plus 3 equals what? 0. So let's solve. What do we do here?
Subtract 3.
Subtract 3 from both sides. Those cancel out. X equals negative 3. And then what do I do here? Subtract 3 from both sides. Negative 3x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by what? Negative 3. And then we get x equals, equals what? X equals what? 1. What's any number divided by itself? 1. So this is the solution, and this is the solution. But we already knew that because we saw that in the graphs. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
But it doesn't matter that you know it in the graph. You got to know how to find it. This is how we find it. Are y'all following? Factoring by grouping. This is what I just asked you guys to do. Is everybody good on that?
Yes.
Yes. So next week we are going to review this a little bit more. And you're going to be expected to know this. So watch those videos and practice. Keela, you with me? Yes? Okay. Any questions?
No.
Nope. All right. I need everybody